Enjoy the ride with Crystal Petry.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of 60 Minutes With. I'm your host, Crystal Petry. On this week's podcast, we are going to learn about real estate photography. If you are like me, I didn't even know that was a thing, but it is. It is. And Jose is here to educate me and you about real estate photography.
Yeah,
So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for having me here.
I am serious. I did not know real estate photography was a thing. I don't know what I thought because I feel like everybody gets on Zillow or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're looking at houses, whether you're in the market to buy or sell, it's just kind of something you do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about the pictures, like how they got there or who took them. You know, I just saw the pictures and they were there. But, okay, so tell me what a real estate photographer does.
So, okay, now since I picked this up, the way that I can better describe it is, for good and for bad, or for whichever way you want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
This thing right here is what governs our worlds right now.
Cell
Our modern
phones,
world,
yes.
Right, okay. And we always go like this,
Yes.
all day, And say you're shopping for a blouse or a ring or whatever we're shopping for, a haircut, I don't care what it is. But you go like this, and Amazon, as soon as you see that pretty photo, you're, oh, that's good. And you click on it, and as soon as you click on it, if they did a good job, they got you. You ain't going nowhere else. And that's what I do. That's my job.
Mm-hmm.
So my job is to make sure that the photos, especially at home, which is one of the most precious assets, once that people go like this, shopping for a home, oh, this looks better than the other home. Oh, let me click on it. And as soon as they do that, I got you. I got your attention.
Okay.
That's how I look at it, And then after that, of course, I pass the attention on to the realtor, and then they do their magic,
Yes.
But that's what pretty much what it is.
It used to be said that pictures are worth 1,000 words. Is that still true? Maybe it's worth more now because we're so visual.
They're worth of the
books. We just look at the pictures now. Yeah.
That's very, very true. Yeah.
How did you get into this field, real estate photography?
So when I moved to Bowman in 2020, it's interesting because all I wanted to do after the pandemic I lost everything.
Okay.
Like everything. I had an apartment, lost everything. I sold for $1 while I bought for $400 on
Was that
eBay.
because like you wasn't working and couldn't?
No, I was living in Washington D.C.
Oh.
And
okay.
I was working as a fine dine server. The guy that comes with the expensive bottle of wine.
Yes.
That was me.
Okay.
And after the pandemic, I mean, nobody wants to spend a lot of money on a meal,
Right.
So needless to say, I had no job. So then I couldn't find a job anywhere. And my family lives here, so they invited me to come over. They'll help me start again from zero. So I came here. But anyways, where I was going with this is that the only thing that I kept with me was like a little old computer that I had, like maybe 2-3 things of clothes, and my camera. And I kept my camera, even though I could have sold it and paid for some of the money that I owed, but because taking photos really made me feel alive.
Okay.
And so I knew that I wanted to make some money with my camera, but I just didn't know how. Like going for wedding photography. First of all, there wasn't even weddings.
Right.
I thought about product photography, maybe. But that takes like a lot of studying and thing. It's just a lot of error and a lot of investment too. You need a special lenses, special bodies, and all that. And then I was like, my brother is a real estate investor, and then I was like, I kind of want to do something with my camera and also stay in the real estate field so that I can, stay closer to my brother and
Right.
get this together. Okay, so I sold my camera to pay some of the money that I owed. But I decided to keep it because taking photos really, really makes me feel alive. I don't know, it's just a feeling, it just makes me feel excited. And then I just, didn't settle for that reason. My brother is a real estate investor, and so I decided to take photos of his house, some of his houses,
Okay.
so that I could stay within whatever he does. And okay, long story short, I waited on Tanya Castellan, one of these here in Bowman.
Mm-hmm.
Just stumbled across 2, 3 jobs, and one of the jobs was breakfast waiter, and waited on Tanya Castellan, who's a big realtor here in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her my idea, and she was like, "Hey, you should come over and start. I will give you a couple of my homes to get started, you know." And she even made a video with me in it. She's like, "Hey, this is my new team member, new photographer." And after that, just people just started calling me over to take photos of their homes, and like I said, it really made me feel alive. And so because of that, I guess you can see that in the photos. It's just I can help it. And so little by little, more and more clients started coming over until I went full time for 2022. Right now we're barely starting 2024, and I checked, and we have taken photos of about I think 2,100 properties.
What?
Yeah.
2,100
Yeah,
properties?
2,100 properties.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. So it really is who you know. Because it was your brother and then Tanya. So it really is who you know. And I have I've interviewed Tanya, and her podcast is amazing. So if you have not watched that, please go and watch her podcast. But she is a huge real estate agent here in Southeast Texas.
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, have you gotten any training, or do you need to have training for real estate photography?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. When I started, the first home that I did took me like nearly 2 hours. And
Is that a long time? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now that I look the photos back, I'm like, oh God, this is horrible. I'm like, what was I thinking? But nowadays, the exact same size of a house, which I think it was like a 1,500 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that in like 30 minutes maybe. And it's probably going to look 10 times better.
And is that because of the training? Is it because of your experience, or both?
Both. Both. So what happens is that we try to make it look more spacious and pretty, but there's a bunch of little tiny details that no one ever sees.
Mm-hmm.
And of course that's what we do for a living. As a way, because now I have a small team of people that works with me.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of little details that you just don't think are there, but when you look at the photos, I mean, they're not meant to be seen like easily, but when you look at the photos, like, oh, then you, like I say, you cannot help yourself. You just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and then I don't know. It's just there's so many things.
So what are some of the little things that, as a professional real estate photographer, you see, but as like the person that's scrolling, we don't pay attention to?
So I combine a couple of things. One of them is the layout of how we take the photos. The layout is mostly for not only for the realtor, but also for the person that is seeing it. What I mean by that is there's a specific sequence that we take the house photos in.
Okay.
And I say that it's in the order of importance. So we start with the entrance, living area, kitchen, and then the master bedroom.
Okay.
That little sequence right there, because if you notice, when you walk into the house, when somebody invites you in their house, that's the exact same thing that you first see. See the living area, and you're like, hey, you wanna come eat something? You go into the kitchen, you see, and then
I
you go,
see
you
it
what I'm
as
saying?
you're explaining it.
Yeah. And then, so there's a specific sequence that we use. That's just the order how we take the photos. Another thing could be how to make the room look bigger. Because in each and every bedroom, I take the photo from like the very, almost outside of the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Only so that it looks way more spacious, Of course, we don't want to misrepresent, but we also don't want to make the room look smaller. Because in this business, bigger is better. I don't know. There's even another other rules of photography. Something that we call the rule of thirds. It's hard to explain here, but if you divide a screen in like two vertical lines and two horizontal lines where they converge, that's a point of interest.
Okay.
So for example, if in one of those points of interest I align it with, for example, the facade, that's gonna look a little bit more cinematic and a little bit more artistic than you just go.
So do you zoom in on the point of interest or you leave it? Do you
No,
do
I just
any
leave it.
editing? Or is that just what you're looking for when you take the picture?
That's what I'm looking for when I'm taking a picture. But then again, there's a lot of little details. When I'm training someone, some people are like, "Whoa, this is not for me," because there's so many things. Or somebody could be like, "Oh, this is cool. I didn't think it was going to be,"
Yes.
you know. So the editing. So when you mean by editing, yes, we retouch the photos. So there's a specific way that we do it because we don't want any area of the house to look dark or scary. That's also a reason why we avoid to shoot house or closets. It's just nothing.
What about like the huge walk-in, beautiful built-in closets? Do you shoot those or you still don't shoot those?
Well, I've seen closets that are literally the size of my apartment. So those, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You know, if it's like a normal everyday closet, probably not. Especially because people are going to have all of their belongings in there. So we try to avoid those, you know, we just leave them there. I do take the measurements of it, but we try to avoid them.
Okay.
Mhm.
While you're taking pictures, speaking of measurements, do you measure the house as well or
Yeah.
you just take the pictures?
No.
Why do you measure the house?
Because that is very important for the realtor. So, okay, two main reasons that I know of. One, when they list the house on the MLS listing, they need the room measurements because it's required by the law or something. Like they need, the kitchen is 5.3 by 7 feet or something like that. That's one reason. The other reason is because when you see the floor plan, if you're a buyer, you see the floor plan, then you get in your head a better idea of the layout of the house. You know, the kitchen is to the left, and then behind the kitchen there's the master bedroom. You know, you just see them now. Oh, okay. And you're in your head, if you also see the measurements in the floor plan, that bedroom is actually pretty big. You know, this by this much by this much. So. That's why, and also it's a way that we add value because we just give them away for free. We don't charge for that.
Okay. Now, I thought a real estate agent measured the house. Or is that just something that you do with your services?
I do with my services.
Okay.
You know, so all of our clients don't need to worry about that. That's what, I figured that we were going to do that because if I don't do it, then they need to go back to the house and take the measurements. Sometimes they bring this big measuring tape or a laser pen or something. But then I'm like, well, I'm here taking the photos, so might as well.
Might as well.
We'll just get it done for them.
What kind of camera do you use?
All of us use a Canon ATD.
Okay. And why does everybody use the Canon?
So that we are all on the same page.
So are you when you say all of us, are you talking about you and the people that work with you or real estate photographers in general?
No, everybody can use whatever they want. No, we use me and my other two photographers. All of us have the exact same setup. And that's just to keep the consistency across every single job that we produce, you know. Just it's a way of like, because if there's like 3 or 5 people, right now there's 3 of us, but eventually we'll expand. So if there's like 3 people taking photos with me, I don't want it to be like, well, why this one looks a little bit more pale and this one looks more vivid, or, you know, they all have to look the same, you know.
Why did you choose you said the Canon ATT?
80.
Oh, the
number
Canon 80.
and D as in David. Mhm.
Okay. Why did you choose the Canon 80?
I think it's a really good camera. Like it's very handy. It's like a it's like a work horse. I mean, we can beat that thing down, and it's good to work. It's not. I do have a really fancy camera too, but that's for other things. But for this work, because when you take, here's another thing. Each photo that we take is actually not one photo; it's three.
So you take 3 photos of the exact same thing.
Yes.
And why is that?
Because one photo is going to be very, very bright. One photo is going to look like normal, and the other photo is going to be very dark.
Okay.
The very dark photo is so that when we take photos of a window, we can see what's outside.
I think I'm confused. Why would you want to see what's outside?
If you take a photo with your phone, and if this was a big window right here,
Right.
and I take a photo of this thing right here, then this is going to look just white. That's just the way the cameras are. And if I take a photo of the window, the rest of this is going to look really, really dark. That's just the way the cameras work, even with the phone. So what we do is that we after we take the 3 photos, we blend them into a program, and then we edit them.
Okay.
It's quite a process, but that is what makes the photos look so nice and almost cinematic. It's a lengthy process, especially if it's done by just one person, but the results are really nice.
And you can do that in 15 minutes, like taking 3 pictures of everything. You were saying in a 1,500 square, no, you said 30 minutes. In a 1,500 square home?
Yeah. What happens is that the camera is programmed. Every time that I take a photo, it's gonna shoot 3 times. Pa, pa, pa.
Okay.
Right, for each and every photo. And then I've done this for quite some time, so it's not hard for me to just go and do that. I already know what I'm looking for, what angles I want to take, how I'm gonna make it look prettier, and then I just hand it over to someone else that takes care of the editing.
Okay. So you have your camera. Do you use any other equipment when you're doing your real estate photography, or is the camera the only thing you use?
Well, because it's taking 3 photos, it's not just one, then I need to stabilize the camera.
So, tripod?
Yes.
Okay.
So that it's not shaky or anything, and it takes the 3 photos from the exact same spot. I need to make sure that there's nothing wobbly on the floor or anything, so that when it shoots it, that's the only equipment that I use. Besides that, I mean, depends on the type of job. Sometimes we need to use a 3D camera if they want other ports, or if the client wants if it's a big land, then we need to use drone photos.
So you also use drone as well? Okay.
Yeah.
And so the drone is the flying camera, I guess. And do you have how do you know what pictures you're taking if it's like flying overhead? Do you have a remote control?
Oh yeah. So before that, there's a program that an app that we use that is called Land Glide. And the Land Glide thing, what it does is that it has the records of each and every property, at least in the U.S. I don't know if it works, never used it outside of the U.S., but so it's going to tell me the exact same boundaries of the property. And then once that I have seen the boundaries in here, then I take off the drone and I'm like, oh, okay, and I'm comparing it, right? Okay, there's that tree over there, there's that tree over there, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I go about, and then that's how I take photos of the land.
Are you getting more requests for drone photography? Because that's video, or is it pictures, or is it both?
Both.
Are you getting more requests for drone photography as opposed to your point and shoot camera?
No, the point and shoot is by far the biggest. Some jobs require drone, but sometimes it's not necessary. Like, oh my, I forgot. I actually took photos of this building where we're at, because I don't know if they're gonna sell it or lease it or something. But that job was actually, it could not have been done with just the regular camera, because we need to show where the highway is, where the streets are at, the Walgreens right next door, those points of interest. So that's when, but the drone is not necessary for all of the jobs. The main bread and butter is the photos.
Do you choose, like, if you're going to use your Canon 80 or the drone, or does the client choose that?
No, I choose that because I can figure out what works best for each scenario. Okay, for example, I've been to, say I'm in a big house with a huge piece of land. And maybe all the way at the end of the land, there's going to be a barn and maybe horses or something. So for me, it's a lot better just to fly the drone all the way over there and take the photo from there with the barn looking towards the house. Or if there's a pond, not a pool, a pond, or a mini lake, or something with water. So in that case, I will fly the drone exactly on top of the water, looking towards the house. Because what I'm selling there is the idea what it will be like if you are with your little boat, or just swimming in your pond. Oh, this is what it will feel like if you happen to buy this property. So for that scenario, those scenarios, yeah, the drone goes a long way, and I could not go and swim in the middle of the pond
Right.
with my camera and try this with the tripod. Nah, it's not gonna work. So that's when the drone goes more handy.
As a real estate photographer, you brought up a great point. Is your main job to sell the idea of what it would be like to live here?
Yeah.
With your pictures or video?
In the super high-end homes, that is more often seen. I try to do that with all of the houses, but with the super high-end, that's more common, because then you're not selling the house itself, you're selling the lifestyle.
The lifestyle.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's a pool, like a big pool, I'm not gonna take photos of just the pool. I'm gonna take a photo from right behind those little chairs where you don't even sit down, you're like reclined.
Yes.
With a little umbrella right there
Yes.
in front of you. And I'm gonna take the photo from right back there, looking at the pool and the house behind the pool. So that in your mind you're like, oh, this looks so relaxing and chilling, I would like what it's like. Well, come call your realtor.
Yeah.
Yes. Or what if there's like those houses in the back, there's this beautiful porch. This is the other way around. What I to describe you is like, okay, there's the chairs, umbrella, pool, and the house is right behind. The other way is like, okay, I go inside the porch, and then there's those little couches over there.
Yes.
Like a little table for you.
The patio furniture.
Patio furniture. So in this case, I will take the same photo, but from behind one of those couches. And then you see the pool, and then there's maybe the kids playing area. So in your mind, you're like, oh my God, I can be chilling right down here and watching the kids play. That's lifestyle photography. And so on, depending for which scenario. Like, there's also some specific kitchen things, like there's some wine racks where people put their wine. So I'm gonna make sure that I don't just take a photo of the wine rack like front. No, that's boring. I want to make sure that I also take a photo where the little hanging wine glasses are there. You know, so you're thinking, oh my God, I can store my wines in here, and there's just a wine glass right there. I can just, that's what lifestyle photo is. So you don't just buy the house; you're buying the lifestyle that comes with it.
Yes.
You know,
I had no idea. Tricks of the trade.
Mhm.
That is exactly what
Yeah.
you're doing when you're just scrolling through Zillow.
Yeah, and if you just go with the phone, I mean, I do this for a living, so I know all these tricks. If you just go with the phone, and it's not, first of all, it's not going to look pretty, it's going to look all distorted, because you think it's just about using the wide angle thing. But no, there's way more than that, so. Yeah.
So I know people do it because I've seen people do it. Just go to the house and use their cell phone, their iPhone, their Android, and just take pictures of the house. But that's not recommended.
Depends.
Okay.
Because what if it's like a distressed property? Well, we call it investment property. Those houses that you need to tear it down. You need to tear it down and just leave the studs, and because you're gonna fix it up and resell it, rehab it, or rent it. So if I go and do that job, when people come and see that house, the photos look a lot prettier than what I see on the photos. So now we're like misrepresenting. So in that case, the phone might have been better.
Because it shows more true what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that case, yes. In which it might not be recommended is when you have like a very, very nice home. And it doesn't have to be like a super big mansion. It can just be like a well-kept home. By that I mean something that doesn't have holes in the walls.
Yeah.
That is not moldy, that you don't see the mold in the ceiling or things. Just a well-kept house, But for that, I think it goes a long way. Photos go a long way, especially now. So something very interesting is happening. I've seen. Initially, there was people that from Texas that love Texas and that's where we are, Texas, and want to stay in Texas, right? Now we have a third type of buyer, which is the fleeing buyer.
And what is that?
Nobody wants to stay in California anymore.
I've noticed that.
And they're coming to Texas because of they don't want to spend all of their earnings in paying taxes. So just recently, like 2 days ago, I met this realtor, and she came from California, and she was blown away. The home prices here are like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, because the exact same home in California is gonna be $1.2 million.
No.
And then if you add to that the price of the gas, they are paying $6, $7. No, let's just give it $6 per gallon.
That is a lot.
Yeah. And here we're still blessed that we have it at 2
Two.
something.
Yes.
We have it
Yes.
at 3, and people are like, oh my God, $3.
It's true.
No.
It's true.
So now those people and they don't have the time or the money or to just, okay, let me go see the homes, and then I'll go back to California and tell you what I found. No. They're just gonna go with their phone.
Yes.
They're gonna look at the photos. Oh, that house looks pretty.
Yes.
If there's something that catches your attention, they're gonna save the time. They're gonna save the money. They're just gonna see whatever photos are pretty. They're gonna assume that because of the realtor took the time and the money to get pretty photos. Oh, that's something that cares about what they're doing. Let me call them.
Yes. So we really have, and by we I mean Texas, we really have that many people moving in from California to Texas.
Mm-hmm. It's happening. It's happening because we're California, and it's just with their taxes, and I don't know, people don't want to stay there.
Yeah.
Unless you really want to, but not everybody has. I mean, if you can have a better lifestyle for a quarter of the price that you pay, why not?
Why not?
Mhm.
What is the largest house and most expensive house that you've ever shopped?
I'm gonna go with like this. I'm not sure if it was. I think it was 10,000 square feet. And it was actually here in Bowman. It was a. It was these guys that it was flooded, and they bought it, and they rehabbed it, and what they're planning to do is to rent it out for weddings. I mean, that house even it didn't have a pool, it had a lazy river.
In Beaumont,
Yeah.
Texas?
It's off on 105. And so they're not planning to sell the house, they just wanted the photos and the video to promote their business.
Mm-hmm.
And so the house alone could fit like, I don't know, easily 30 to 40 people in there. And then it had like, I mean, it was just huge. It had a big palapa thing. The lazy river actually had like a stationary thing, and it had like a pool bar. Mm-hmm. So you could just go on with your little boat, just floating around the
and
lazy
go to
river.
the bar.
And just stop at the bar, and somebody gives you a margarita, and off you go. I mean, in the middle of the lazy river, there was also a mini golf course. It was just incredible. And it had marble everywhere. I don't know the price of the house, to be honest. Because they're not thinking of selling it. Now, the most expensive one that I have taken photos of, that was in Lumberton, Keith Road, and the thing was just built up everywhere was stone, metal roof, and I think that one was like $5 million. I think it was an interesting place, really, really cool.
For that amount, it better be interesting.
Yes. Yeah, that was a nice home.
Do you have, and I don't know if you keep up with this, and that's a question that you can answer. Do you have like 100% sell rate? So all the homes that you take pictures of, they sell? Or do you even keep track of that?
I do not.
Okay.
And but I have noticed that not all of them sell, because it's a combination of things. So I'm like, ironically, I do know a lot about these, but I am not an expert at selling the houses. I'm an expert at making them do great. So what I'm saying is that I provide the tools, you know. So I provide the tools for the soldier, for the hero in the story, which is the realtor. And then the realtor comes and uses the tools that I give them to go and fight their war, you know.
Yes.
So that's how I see myself, you know. What do you need? I need a gun. There you go. You know, I need a shotgun. There you go. I need a grenade. There you go. You know, that's what I do. So because of that, it's not the same that I give like really amazing photos to this experienced realtor. It's sad to see that, but if I give the exact same tools to somebody that's not gonna know how to use them, you know. And there's a bunch of scenarios too. Sometimes the realtor has a hard time with their seller. It's not following recommendations. I've noticed that a lot. Like sometimes the seller is like, "Oh my God, no! You said 250. No, I want 350 for my house." And the realtor is the expert, but they don't listen. And so, okay, so they know more than the expert.
Yeah.
And they don't listen. So the house just sits there on the market. See, that's not my bad. It's not the realtor's bad. It's just that we have a person that doesn't listen.
Right.
So photos alone and whatever I do, it can only get you so far. But the other day, I remember, I'm sorry, and I only want to work with realtors, by the way, for a number
So you don't work with the for sale by owner.
that's where I was going to.
Okay.
Somebody called me for sale by owner. For me, it was not a good experience because they don't have experience. So they were like, "Oh my God, the photos look a little too bright." Okay, we'll edit them again. We did it. Okay, now it looks too dark. Okay, we'll fix it again. No problem. Because I do whatever it takes to meet my client's desired satisfaction. 100%. Okay. Oh my God. Now, but you didn't really get the accent on the corner of the door. She did say that. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll try to make it better. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It was my computer. It was failing.
No.
And then after all of that, she was like, you know, Jose, the photos look great, but my house is not selling. Can you recommend it with a realtor?
No.
So I recommended back to the realtor that gave her my number. It's like, why don't you just call such and such?
Yes.
She's a great realtor. And ever since, I'm like, I'm sorry, no, I cannot do this no more. No, I can't.
I don't blame you.
So it's not just me. You gotta know what you're doing.
Yes, you got to know how to use the tools that I'm giving
And
you.
that was one of those stubborn sellers. Don't listen to the realtor. She's like, I'll sell the house for you. No, just give me the photographer. Yeah. The father sell the house. Okay, good luck.
That's just part of it.
It's just part of it.
How do you plan your schedule? Like, do you do a house every day or 2 houses a day? How do you plan your schedule as a real estate photographer?
Well, right now we're in the coming out of the slow season into the busy season, which is right around the corner for the industry.
So spring, summer, is it busy? Okay.
Because people, one, it's not gonna be so cold anymore. People that venture more into trying to go and see houses. 2, they just got their money from their taxes. You know, they got all this money, they want to spend it. They're ready to move on or whatever. So they go and that's why. Those 2 reasons. And then the kids are back in school, so now they have more time to go and explore new homes, you know. So for all of us, that's it. And the days are longer.
Oh, because of the time change.
So for the winter, the daylight starts around like 7 in the morning, and by 4 it's already dark.
Yes.
5 p.m. looks like midnight.
Yes.
That shortens the day, and it also shortens the time that realtors can show the homes, which in turn shortens the amount of homes sold and what have you.
Okay.
So.
Piggybacking on that, is weather important when shooting real estate photography? Like, do you need it to be a beautiful, clear day with the sun out? Or can you shoot it, you know, because we're in Southeast Texas, we get a lot of rain, a lot of clouds all the time. Does it matter about the weather?
So yes and no.
Okay.
It depends. First of all, cameras don't like the rain. I know that. If the camera gets wet, I never got any wet, but it's probably gonna die. Don't want to test it. But if it is just cloudy, it actually sometimes is better.
Why?
Because the shadows are not gonna be as harsh.
Okay.
When it's cloudy, the clouds produce this sort of like diffusion on the light that makes the shadows look a lot softer. Now it's still cloudy, but what we do is that we go into Photoshop and we replace the entire sky, make it look pretty.
Okay.
That's not.
But it doesn't replace the effects of the clouds when you go into Photoshop.
So that will be a no. It's not that important. If it actually rained, like I said, then one, the camera doesn't like it, and there's puddles of water or the concrete color changed, and then it's not gonna look the same as when if it was all dry. And then if it's like a really really nice home, like one of those homes that I don't know, huge houses, then my preferred time to shoot them is like really early in the morning or 2 hours before the sunset, because then there's this thing called golden light.
Is that sunset or the morning, or you get it at both times? Okay.
Sunrise and sunset. But those are like tricky to shoot because I have to be running because the sunset is coming right after. But the only difference will be the shadows coming from the window, and it looks a little bit more, I don't know, dramatic maybe. But other than that, no, any time of the day is good.
Is natural light good when you're shooting a home?
It does play some, so it makes some difference. The matter of fact, I try to open all of the windows. I try to open the blinds a little bit so that there's a lot of natural light coming in. Then we turn on the lights, the lamps, and things like that, just to give more accents to more details to the photo. Yeah. So yeah, it's important to have natural light.
Is it possible to sell a house with no pictures? I would think not, huh? I mean, I don't know. Can you sell a house with no pictures and no video?
Not today. No, I don't think so. You need something to show, even if it's one of those ugly houses. You still need photos.
Yeah.
Don't have to be mine.
Yeah.
You still need some photos. You can take them with your cell phone, but you still need photos.
Earlier in the podcast, you were talking about kind of the way you shoot. You know, you shoot the living room, coming into the house, the kitchen, things like that. I would like for you to talk to me about specifically what it is you're shooting when you're shooting different rooms. So what are you looking for, and what are you wanting to shoot when you're shooting a kitchen that's going to capture the person's attention?
Okay. Every kitchen is different, but let me just pull the one that I shot this morning.
Okay.
So, for example, it had a little sitting bar area, and then right across from that bar area, there was the breakfast area with a lot of windows, like an octagon kind of thing. Okay. So when I want to make sure that I'm showing that bar area, but not just the bar area, but also in relationship to that breakfast area, and show a little bit of what's behind the bar. So in this case, there was some cabinets, there was the faucet, and it had those very, very nice cabinet, I don't know, thingies. It looks like some rolls in the corners of the cabinets that they're like wooden crate, you know.
Really?
Yeah. So
they had like,
I don't know what they're called.
Like
it's like wooden accents. They carve them out. And
so wooden accents.
Okay, so I want to. I'm still talking about just the little bar area, but I'm not gonna take a photo of just that. I want to show a little bit of the rest, because that's what makes you want to keep seeing. Because if you see just that and with a little bit of the extras, like, what's back there? Is there another photo that shows it? And you keep scrolling. So the bar, and then I moved on and I took a photo of the breakfast area. And in the breakfast area, I want to show all of those windows that are literally surrounding the breakfast area.
So that was like a breakfast nook, if I'm kind of, okay.
And then, so if we're looking at, it started from here, breakfast area, and then to this wall, there was a fireplace over there. It just kept going, and then in front of the fireplace was the living area. So I took the photo of the breakfast area, but I continue it with the fireplace. So you see that, first of all, it doesn't cut my space. It makes it look that there's something more interesting to see. And again, you figure yourself having a nice meal right there. You're like, when you
With the fireplace lit. Yes.
you figure like, okay, so if I'm having my breakfast here, there's gonna be all of this natural light. I'm enjoying my meal. It's just relaxing. Okay. Then I moved on to the actual facade, which when I take a photo of the facade, it's not just the facade. We spend a lot of time washing our dishes.
Unfortunately, even with the dishwasher.
Even with the dishwasher, because you need to rinse them and
Yes.
to do your thing. So when I take photo of the facade, I make sure that I am also showing what your view is going to be like. So I don't really care about what's, the actual, what do you call it, sink.
The sink.
Okay. I don't really care about that. That's not important. But what I care about is what view you're going to have. And in this case, the facade, which it was right behind that bar that I just sort of described. You could also see the fireplace to your right, and then to the left, you could also see the breakfast area. So now you're imagining, oh, well, washing dishes here is not that boring.
Because your view.
Because your view, you could be washing your dishes and watching the TV over there, which is going to be on top of the fireplace. So, and then last, I did take a photo of the very corner of that kitchen. In this case, I was trying to get the whole kitchen. So I got the facade, the little, the stove. Oh, those wooden accents were on top of the stove.
Okay.
So I made sure that I got that. The breakfast area at the end, right at the end of the photo. So you can see everything. Another photo that I took was actually the stove.
Why do we care about the stove?
Sometimes the fancy homes, if the stove was this on this wall, they have all these nice, beautiful designs, if you will.
Oh, behind the stove.
Behind the stove. Sometimes, definitely not wooden, but sometimes they have these beautiful art designs that are made of ceramic thingies.
Yes, yes.
There's also on the outside of the stove was here, and then constantly seen here. You see all of these wooden accents. There's all sort of crazy things. The thing that pulls the smoke out.
Oh yes,
Some of those are,
the ventilator.
Yeah. Some of those are very, very nice, and they're very expensive. They need to be shown. So I make sure that we show them, following all these crazy rules that I told you.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna show that. I'm gonna show the ventilator, the stove, what's after that, so that you continue to keep watching.
Right.
So, that's why I try to take it, and also because besides the facade, we spend a lot of time cooking.
In the kitchen.
So if you are going to spend a lot of time over there, might as well make sure that you're looking at something pretty.
Yes.
So that's why I imagine that. So I try to sell that. And it works.
So same question, but this time the bathroom. What is it? Do you need to take pictures of the bathroom? Are the bathrooms something that helps sell the house?
Yes.
And what is it that you're looking for in the bathroom when you're taking the real estate photography?
Okay. There's two types of bathrooms, maybe. Well, three actually. One is the master. The other one is going to be a half bath. That is usually by the kitchen, or as soon as you walk into the house. The guest bathroom, they call it sometimes. It's just the toilet and the faucet. And then there's the kids' bathroom. Could be a Jack and Jill or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, we try not to show the toilets,
Really?
which makes it challenging sometimes.
Right, because most bathrooms are not that big.
Right, if I cannot avoid it, I cannot avoid it. But
Mhm.
I will do my very, very best trying to avoid to take a photo of the toilet. Okay, so that being said, yes, so if there's the half bathroom, so to say that you, as soon as you walk into the house, and then, I don't know, under the stairs, there's
Mhm.
like a half bath right there, that I will take a photo of the bathroom, but I'm not just gonna take a photo of the bathroom. First of all, how am I gonna take the photo? I mean, it's like under the stairs, and then it's
Yes.
like right there. So what I'm gonna do to take the photo is half of my photo.
Mhm.
Half of my photo is going to be the bathroom, and
Right.
the other half is where it's at. So I take it like a little bit outside, so that I'm
So
showing.
you have the door open.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that you, again, in your mind, you're seeing, oh, this bathroom is like so accessible to my guest, but at the same time, it's not in the middle of the living room. So I'm not just taking the photo of the bathroom, but I'm taking the photo of where it's at in relationship to the rest of the house. That's for a half bath.
Mhm.
For the kids' bathroom, or that's an easy one. I just try to get all of it in one photo.
Okay.
I don't need two photos of that. So the faucets and the shower.
Mhm.
That's an easy one. Now with the masters, some masters have two faucets.
Okay.
That's important.
Like the double, the
Mhm.
double sinks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes they're far apart, or
Mhm.
sometimes they're right next to each other. But most of, I need to make sure that I have both of those because that's a selling feature.
Is it the faucets?
Yeah.
Or where they're located?
No, the faucets themselves is a selling feature. Because your husband is a mess,
Yeah.
and you're not.
Okay. Or sometimes it could be the other way
Or
around.
it could be the other
We're
way
not.
around. But
Yes.
then have him ask his mess.
Mhm.
You are in your clean little faucet. You know,
Yes.
that's. You know,
I see.
I love you
that.
so much. I love you dearly. But you're dirt. So you stay in that one over there. This was mine. You know when it gets crazy when I see two showers. I still don't get that.
2 showers?
I still don't get that.
Why would someone need 2 showers? Now, I get what I've seen here lately is like the separate shower from the tub. Are you seeing that a lot now? No?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a tub, which is, I understand that because you are in the tub. That's also a picture for the bathroom, and it's just there. And usually the tub is going to be right next to this huge window.
Okay.
It's just so relaxing. So that's the selling photo, you know. Just take a photo of just the tub,
Yes.
the window. You're like, oh, you're just very relaxing. But the 2 shower thing, I don't get that.
I don't get that either. I guess unless the husband and wife want to like shower.
At the exact same time. I
Yeah, you
still
know, they
don't get
both
it.
have to.
I probably they don't. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But they
Or
spend a
maybe
lot
it's
of
a
money
brag-
building that.
It's a
and-
bragging point too. You have 2 showers and
Yes.
it's a
Mhm.
bragging point. When someone is looking for a real estate photographer, so if someone is looking for you, Jose, what are the things that they need to look for? Because it's not like, you know, I'm just gonna pick somebody. They should be looking for specific things, right? When they're looking for, and I get, okay, you say you only deal with real estate agents, so I'll frame it like that. Real estate agents, when they're looking for a real estate photographer, what are the things they need to be looking for?
Okay, so the way I look at it is that that's a good question. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just blessed. People like me a lot. Thank you very
Right.
much.
Yes.
But okay, one of the things that I try to do is to get on their side 100% of the times. So what I try to provide is actually, ironically, I'm not trying to sell you photos. I don't see it like that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm selling you is time.
Okay.
Yes,
So that's like your turnaround time.
all of it.
Okay.
Because a whole number of reasons. First of all, time is the one resource that you cannot get more of. There's only so much that we have in a day, in a week, and in our lives. You cannot buy, you cannot trade it. There's only so much time that we have. One, two. What I do, honestly, anybody can do it. If you take the time and go into YouTube or take a course or to learn this thing, you can do it too. And if you learn the editing, and if you learn how to take your own photos and have them equally pretty the next day, I mean, but it's going to cost you a lot of time and effort and headaches and trial and error.
Which you've already done all of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. And not only that, I guess the experience, because of all the trial and error. So when I've noticed this is a great question. I noticed this pattern with my some of our best clients, is that they are very picky because their job demands it. It's not that they want to be picky for the sake of being picky. It's just because we're talking about a house that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so the photos need to be really, really good. And I am blessed that they trust me. They don't need to be right behind me telling me how to. Don't forget to take that one angle right there.
Right.
That looks pretty. They feel, and they do let me know that they feel like relaxed. Like I don't need to worry. Are the photos going to come out good? Are they go? How did they turn out? They don't need to worry about it. They already know that they will look great. I'm selling you time.
Yes.
You need to be right there watching me what I'm going to do.
Right.
Or my team. You know, you don't need to worry. Oh my God, they did not move that trash can. You know. Or little things like that. Or you don't need to worry about, hey my God, I gotta go back and measure the house. No, we'll do it for you. I'm selling you time. You see? Or, oh my God, I called this photographer but he's so busy because he has to go do this wedding and now he has to go to take photos of this senior. And he told me, oh, he's great, but he's going to give me back the photos in like 5 days. No, we'll give him back to you the next day.
Your turnaround time
Yeah.
is 24 hours?
Sometimes less. The next morning. Because I'm selling you time. See, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it happens to be that we take photos and videos and we edit them pretty and we do all sorts of things. You know, that's how I look at it.
Before you shoot a house, do you go and like walk the property? Like what's your checklist before you go in?
No.
Oh, you just go in with your camera.
So every time that we get hired, we send a confirmation email, and in that email there is a house prep list that our clients give to the house seller. My clients give to their clients.
Yes. Yes.
So in that prep list, there's a bunch of things that need to take into consideration. And it's interesting how that came about, because I asked on Facebook, I asked everybody, hey, this is my prep list, is there anything that we should add? And they gave me all their ideas. So I
Really?
added,
Just
yeah.
on Facebook like that?
Yeah. So I added them over there. And so we go through like interior and exterior. Interior, kitchen, no pet products, bathroom, preferably not toothbrushes.
How does that
So
look?
that's for the sellers. Makes our job 80 to 90% easier to do. Because then when I go there, my purpose is, well, for me and my team, first of all, the camera. We need to make sure that the camera has the correct settings. Otherwise, so it's not gonna look right. Then we always do a walkthrough of the house. In the walkthrough, we make sure that the lights are on, the fans need to be off, because since we take 30 photos, if they're on, it's not gonna look good. If we need to move a thing or two, like some pet products or something that can be just easily moved, we will move it. And that's pretty much it
Yeah.
that I can think of.
Is staging important when you're
It
doing?
is.
Why is that important?
Because it sells the idea of what it will be like to be. So we do have virtual stagings too, but so it goes a long way. If the house is empty, it makes it a lot easier for me. But it may or may not be that, I don't know. I'm just guessing. It may or may not be harder for the realtor to sell the house.
Okay.
But I have noticed that when they ask us to virtually stage the home, the house sells faster. And some clients that do know that, when there's an estate sale, they're like, wait a minute, don't sell it yet. Let's just wait for the photos. Then you can sell all the stuff you want. Because now it's going to be staged, you know. So yeah, it is important. It is important. So it also sells you a better idea of what the spacing is like. You know, there's a bed over there, there's a chair over here. You get a better sense of the spacing.
How do you know how much to charge for your real estate photography? Do you base it on the size of the house?
I do it by square footage.
Okay.
And I do it like that because when I started, I was doing like 20 photos this much, 30 photos this much, and 50 photos this much. But what happened is that some clients were asking for like 20 photos, and it was probably like 5,000 square feet. just to exaggerate it, but you know, it did happen. And I was like, I can do that, but I'm not sure that I'm gonna get all the angles that are necessary. So that's why we switch it by the square footage. And in this case, I'm like, okay, now I don't have that pressure, and I'm gonna take as many photos as I consider necessary, so that you have plenty to choose from. And now that creates what I think is a good problem, because now the clients are like, oh my God, there's so many good photos, I cannot make my mind which one to post.
That is a good problem.
That's a good problem. But that's how we end up doing, by the square footage.
Is there such a thing as the perfect picture?
It's very subjective. Very, very, very subjective. But because of that, is that I try to take a lot of different angles, probably of the same thing, and at the same time, not the same. I mean, we need to be very creative.
Yes.
Because it's so subjective.
It
you know,
is.
like, this is a great background for me, but it might not be a great background for somebody else. Why you got that wood back there? You know.
Yes.
So it depends. I like this because it's very Texasy, you know, but it's very subjective. So I don't think there's such a thing as a perfect photo.
Do you have any nightmare stories you could tell about going in and taking pictures of a home that was just maybe the home was trash, or they didn't clean up, or they had pets everywhere?
Yes, I definitely have a couple of them. I went to this house one time, and I don't know, it was a little bit scary. It was a little bit scary. I think there was something in the house.
Like an animal?
No, like there was a ghost in there.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. my gear was acting funny. I was trying to take the photos and the camera just died. I had to replace the battery, and it was just acting funny. And I felt it in there.
Wow.
I started praying, and I said out loud, "Hey, this is how I do my living. Y'all need to let me do my job." And as I was praying, it was strange. And then when I went back and reviewed the photos, there were some shadows in the photos. And I kept those photos for a long time, but until I don't know, they're there somewhere. But that was I still remember it.
Wow.
And I did look it up, and that was like 2 years ago. The house is still in the market.
Is it still on the market?
Yeah. Of course, I don't want to say who, where,
Yes,
what,
we're not doing that.
but it's still on the market. And a friend of mine, a realtor, looked it up, and then she saw a bunch of weird things that were around the house, and I don't know. It's changed like 3 or 4 realtors. So there's that. And then all of the rest, there was some kids running around. I was like, hey man, can you please just make sure your kid is not running? Actually, in our prep list, it says it right there. Please, no kids running.
Yes.
Please make sure your pet is not. But cats are cats; they do whatever they want.
They do.
Yeah, but that's just like, and they move away. Or yeah.
What are some do's and don'ts of real estate photography? What are some things that you absolutely have to do, and what are some things that you absolutely should not do when it comes to real estate photography?
Well, what you should do, because of the settings and the angles and all of that, I think what you should always do is be nice to the seller and to the clients. They're the ones that are helping us pay our bills, And what you should not do is not be nice, because it's also half of what I do, if not, no, it's more. I would say 60 to 70% of what we are doing, it's people's skills. Because I am a stranger going inside of somebody's home. They don't know me. I mean, people that know me know that I'm a good guy, but they don't know me. Who is this Latino bearded guy doing my house?
With gray hair.
What's he doing here?
Yes.
So that I think it goes a long way. And what you should not do is start acting like strange. If you just, okay, I'm here to take my photos, and that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. They talk to you, and you're like, no, leave me alone. I'm taking the photos. I mean, come on. It just changes the whole dynamic of the situation.
Yeah. If somebody that's watching this podcast or listening to this podcast want to be a real estate photographer or get into that business, what is the steps to doing that?
Oh no, that's a good question. You can call me, I'll hire you.
And he'll train you. And he will train you.
I don't know, it's hard to tell because I'm in a group of other real estate photographers, and we help each other, and some of the newbies ask me what to do, and I don't know, I was just blessed because again, Tanya Castellan is the one that had me started into this thing. So I started with the right foot, in this industry. But somebody that's just trying to get started, I don't know, they can, I think it's just be nice, be professional, always provide good service, care. I think that's the right word, just care.
Okay.
Because I've been in situations where, I remember him so well, this guy's like, the house photos look great, but you missed the tree. What tree? The oak tree. Oh, the oak tree? Yeah, there was an oak tree. I never saw an oak tree, but I said, no problem. I'll go back and take photo of the oak tree. Matter of fact, it's on my website. So that, or sometimes we're like,
So was there an oak tree?
there was two.
Okay.
And I don't care if it was my bad or their bad, it doesn't matter, but I want to make it right because I care. Or the room measurements and the floor plans. I keep those away for free because, again, I care about their time. They can make more money just sitting in front of somebody that wants to sell their house or somebody who wants to buy the house. You just care. That wasn't even my idea. That was Gary Vaynerchuk who said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he a real estate photographer?
No, he's just a serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
But he always gives this nice business advice. They ask him sometime, what's your best marketing strategy? He was just like, care.
It seems so simple.
But it
Like,
isn't,
yeah. Yeah.
because are you after the money or are you after the relationship? What are you after? If you take care of the relationship and if you take care of the people, the money is a byproduct. That's how I see it. You know, so there's no. But if all you care is like, okay, yes, I'll go back to your house that is 2 hours away from here because you want a different angle for the kitchen. Of course, I will go there, but I'm going to charge you the travel fee plus the photo plus. I've been through that situation before. I was like, no problem, I'll go.
With a good attitude like that?
Yeah, of course. They're helping me pay my bills.
Yeah, they are.
They're putting
They
food on
are.
my table. Of course I'll say yes, you know.
Yes, yes.
I cannot afford to say no. That's how I look at it. I mean, yeah, I will do it. I've done it before and I will do it again. So
Yes.
going through whatever else, you know, I don't care what it takes to make sure that you are satisfied with what we're producing, you know.
What is your personal intention with real estate photography?
Personal intention.
Yeah.
What do you
Like,
mean?
what is your intention within this career field, with shooting the homes and creating the relationships? What's your intention with that?
Never thought about that. That's a good question. I mean, first of all, after doing so many homes and after being this for like 2 years, I've realized that the photos are definitely creating an impact on the sales of the houses. So, and I'm not going anywhere. So what I vision is like, okay, and if the houses are selling faster, and if more people continue to use us, plus there's people fleeing from California, I don't know, this area can become in a very, very nice, great area, you know, for all of us to live in, you know. And eventually that's going to force everybody to build better homes, you know, create a better living, because we all want to live here. If that makes sense.
Yes, it does. We are located in Southeast Texas. Do you shoot real estate photography outside of this area? So you will travel?
Within, well, okay. I was going to say within reason, but that's subjective.
Yes.
Subjective, because I've gone to like, well, Crystal Beach is right there. But I've been to like Jasper, the lakes on the north, the river or something. Oh, see, now it just made me think. I have a client in, she lives in Anahuac, and she is listing a house on the other side of Houston, which is from here is like, I think it's 2 or 2.5 hours away. And then she asked me, hey, do you know somebody that works in that area? And I said, where is it? Mississippi, I think it's. I forgot.
Okay.
Anyways, it's on the other side of Houston when I looked it up. And I was like, sure, I'll go. I was like, you cannot go that far? It's like, I already have you come to Animal all the time. I'm like, why not? I mean,
Yeah.
you help me. Of course I want to help you, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah, I go outside of this area a lot.
Okay. Well, if real estate agents, I know you don't work with individuals, but real estate agents, if they're watching this or listening to this podcast, if they want to get in touch with you, how would they be able to do that?
Oh, they can just call to my phone number.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's a business phone number. It's 409-888-0352. Or they can go to our website, we just changed the name also. Now it's called closingdaymedia.com.
Okay. Perfect. Now, my last question for you, Jose, and you've been so good during this interview.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I've learned so much about real estate photography. And like I said at the beginning of this podcast, I didn't even know there was a thing.
Mm.
But I see that it is.
Mm.
It is. Who do you think, my last question for you, who do you think would make a great guest on the podcast, but you have to help me get them on?
Someone I really admire a lot. And we started our careers at pretty much the same time. So his name is Jonathan Castellan. And I think he will be a great guest because there's a lot of things that I want to learn from him also. So he started with, he's the brother of Tania Castellan.
Okay.
But when he started from like zero, and right now he's one of the best real estate salesmen I've ever seen.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait to talk to him.
He's very, very interesting. I can't wait to hear him.
Yes. Well, thank you again for sitting down with me on this podcast. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you, Crystal.
And thank you so much for tuning in and watching. You can get this podcast and all of my other podcasts on YouTube Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. And remember, you always have time to listen and learn on the go.
Come on, let's go on a journey. Sit back, buckle up, enjoy the ride with Crystal Petry. Console.